in finance. He is chartered engineer registered with Institute of Engineer India, Kolkata, and had attended 9 training programs in various reputed training institutes in India for enhancement of skills in projects and general management areas. He has 30 years of experience in projects and management consultancy comprising about 9 years in a known private sector, Bharat Steel Tubes, Haryana, and 24 years in public sector undertaking technical consultancy organizations. He has handled variety of assignments comprising preparation of project proposals and techno-economical viability reports, appraisal reports, appraisal projects, feasibility studies, restructuring and business proposals, business studies, impact assessment, evaluation reports of government projects, etc., and many things. He also preparation of impact assessment reports for CSR projects for GAIL, IL, and FS, etc. for a number of their projects located in the state of Andhra Pradesh, UP, and Assam. At present, Mr. S.K. Bhatt is a freelancer, and he is also visiting faculty in different business schools in Jammu University of Jammu, Jagan Institute of Management, Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Management, National Institute of Fashion Technology, etc., and also Amity University. So, Mr. Bhatt, sir, I am welcome you in this session, and I would like to request you to please start your lecture. And I hope the students will interact with you very well, and the students will ask and get so many knowledge from you.
Thank you, Saket.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, all the participants. As I have been already introduced by Mr. Saket, see, basically, I have been in the line of project management for a long time. In fact, promoting the various first generation entrepreneurs to set up their own ventures. Not only the first generation entrepreneurs, even the existing entrepreneurs who want to expand or who want to bring in the updated technology in their plants, I have been also associated with that. See, today, the basic topic is the preparation of the project report. See, the project report, I think, is the very important document for starting any new venture or expansion of your existing businesses. In fact, this project report or the feasibility report, what we call is, and normally the bank they call it techno-economic viability reports. And in management jargons, we call it a business planning. See, before any entrepreneur start thinking of putting up any venture, he has to be very clear in the mind, what is my business, what is my plan? Because it is in a document where every institution who wants to assist you financially or otherwise, you have to prepare a document like a business plan of your project, and normally when they call it a project report and present it to the concerned institution. See, as soon as you visit a bank, why you visit a bank? See, first you conceive a project, that I want to start some business.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. I think your camera is turned off.
Your camera is off?
Yes, sir. Your camera is off. See, there is a camera logo, sir.
Again?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now you are visible, sir.
Right. Sorry.
No problem, sir. No problem. Please continue, sir.
See, what I was talking, see, any entrepreneur who wants to think of putting up a project, as I said, that he has to prepare a business plan. No, basically, why he wants to prepare a business plan? Not for himself, but in addition to himself, the bankers or the institution, whoever wants to assist you financially or otherwise, they require a document from the entrepreneur. Now, what is your plan? What is your project? Whether the project is technically feasible and financially viable. See, all these things have to be given in a report, what we call is a feasibility report. What it means, feasibility report, whether the project is feasible to set up. It's not like that I had today a thought of putting up a project, tomorrow I say, I visit a bank, please sir, give me some finance. I want to set up a project, So it is not that easy, because banker or the institution, they want to understand your project. They want to understand you, who are you, whether you have the capability of putting up the project, whether the project will generate sufficient profits or a cash, that you are able to repay back the loans to the bank which you have taken as a loan from them, right? And secondly, in addition to the bank, you visit other institutions who are engaged in giving the necessary incentives at the financial, any other incentives to the entrepreneur. They also want to understand, whether project is good enough to be put up or not. So this is the basic purpose of a project report. Now, what are the basic contents of a project report? See, there are a number of chapters which we describe in a project report. The first is here, the promoter's background and the management. See, the promoter background and management is very important. Who is the person behind the project? Whether he has the necessary expertise, whether it's a technical, management, or business acumen, whether he possesses or not. Number two, whether he has the sufficient finances available with him. See, because no institution in this country gives 100% finance for setting up any venture. Any institution who wants to give you the financial assistance, see that you also have a stake in the project. Now, what sort of stake is? What percentage stake is? It depends upon scheme to scheme. It depends upon project to project. It depends upon area to area. See, normally they say an entrepreneur must contribute about 10 to 20% of the total cost of the project in the setting up his own unit. Suppose if it would have been a zero, that any institution will say, okay, you come, I'll give you 100% finance. That means the promoter will not have any stake in the project. So if he doesn't have any financial stake in the project, he will not be serious in putting up the project. So that's why it becomes very necessary for a banker or any institution to see that your stake is also involved in the project by way of the financial commitment. Now, what I was talking you, the promoter's background and the management, that in a report, one has to describe that I am the right person to put up the project, right? By giving your background or your biodata, your experience. If you are first generation entrepreneur and you are setting up a project for the first time, you don't have any experience, right? Now, how to go about it? That means if you don't have any technical knowledge, if you don't have any business knowledge, that maybe you are getting assistance from your partner or from somebody who will join you or any of the consultant who can advise you, how to set up a project, because you can give always engage a person, technical expert for putting the project, give him the necessary fees, right? So bank or the institution wants to make sure that you have necessary expertise, you have the necessary knowledge in putting up the project. Now, this is as far as his own background is concerned. Now, the second is the financial commitment. Now, how do you prove it? Suppose the cost of the project is 100 rupees. The cost of putting up the project is total 100 rupees. You say, the bank says, okay, you put 20 rupees and 80 rupees I will give you, or 80% or 20%. Now, how to convince that you have got a 20% to put up in the project? I can tell a lie to the bank. Yes, sir, I have got 20%. Now, how to prove it? See, financially or technically, we give them a net worth statement. Net worth statement is sum total of your movable or immovable assets. That I have got these immovable or movable assets with me. Movable assets means your cash, bank deposits, your shares, all the sum total, the market value of sum total becomes your movable assets. That means you have got a liquid cash with you. Immovable means that you have got somewhere some building, some land, some plot, where by selling it you can generate some cash and put up in the business. So banker wants to get convinced that you have necessary net worth with you, that you have necessary finance available with you, and you are able to put that sort of a part of the financial portion in the project, and rest will take care of. So this is very important, that in the project report you first describe yourself, That is called your project. The promoter's background and the management. Now, what is your background? That you have to prove that you have got the necessary expertise, knowledge, and confidence and business acumen. And number two, I have got the necessary funds available with me by proving that this is my network, so that the bank can get convinced, you are the right person to put on the project. Right? This is as far as the promoters and the management concerned. The second, the chapter or the portion comes your technical feasibility. This is very, very important. That see, before any project is set up, you have to select a technology. You have to select the plant and machinery supplier, who is going to give you the machinery or who is giving you the technology. Now, the selection of a technology is a very, very important factor in making a successful project. Now, for example, that means what? What are the various factors which influences in selection of a technology? See, that is your customer. So, for an entrepreneur who is setting up a project for the first time, it is very, very important to know who is my customer, because the customer will decide the type of the technology you will have to employ in the project. Now, I will explain you by giving you example. Now, let me see that I want to set up a plant, for the manufacture of small plastic components like soap case, like mugs, like buckets, right? So, suppose in case I have identified a market, I have identified my customer, that I want to sell my product in a slum area, in a Patri Bazaar, or Sunday markets, where the type of the customer is different. They don't want to pay more. They want a product with a reasonable price. That is what. Once I identify the market, once I identify the customer, that means I am very clear that what type of technology, what type of machinery I am going to put up the project. That is what I have identified the project. Identify the market. Now I want to manufacture soap cases, balties, and mugs, catering to the particular segment of the customer. That means I'll put a low technology project. You understand? That means now for manufacture of these plastic components, there are two types of machines available. That is your injection molding machines. Now one injection molding machine costs about 2 lakhs of rupees. The other molding machine injection molding machine costs me about 10 lakhs of rupees. Now this 10 lakhs machine will produce a product which will cater to a different type of customer. Now, this 2 lakhs of type of a machine will produce a product which will cater to a particular type of the customer. That is, which customer? Which wants a product at a very cheaper rate, right? So that means the identification of a customer, the identification of a market is very, very important factor in deciding your technology of plant and machinery, which you have to describe with the feasibility report, right? What type of technology, what type of the market, what type of the plant and machinery you are going to put up in the project. Because see, suppose in case I have a very very limited resources with me, financial resources. Now I want to put up a project. Now that means what? I cannot spend more money. That means I will have to think a market where my financial constraints will decide what this type of project will cater to this type of the market, this type of the customer. That will decide about the type of the technology, right? Now, second example I will give you. See, I did a project in Haryana, where a wholesale dealer who was having a very big dealership in Chandni Chowk area, he was selling embroidered cloth, fabric, a fabric with the embroidery. And it was a wholesale market. You know that in Chandni Chowk area, a lot of customers they come, they want a product, at a very reasonable price. That's why you'll see a lot of crowd over there. Right? He has been selling this product from the last 10 years. His total turnover is about 20 crores of rupees. Now, one very fine morning, he thought, let me put up my own industrial unit where I will put up a embroidery machines and get the fabric embroidered, and so that I'll save in cost. Because at present, at that time, he was getting the embroidery done from Amritsar, Bombay, or somewhere else. So it was a very nice idea that why should not he put up his own facility for embroidery? So he start exploring, which are the machines available in the market, Now ultimately he zeroed into two types of machines, One machine was available from China, another machine was available from Sweden. The Chinese machine was costing about 10 to 15 lakhs rupees, and Sweden machine was about 1.2 crore rupees. Of course, Sweden machine was very, very sophisticated technology-wise. Product was very good. Quality was very fine vis-a-vis the Chinese machine. So it was a dilemma for him. Now, as a consultant, hearing his background, doing a business for the last 15 years in Chandni Chowk area, and the time of the customer coming to that his shop, no, ultimately he decided to go on for a Chinese machine. Why? Because he thought if I put up a Sweden machine, my cost of production will go very high, right? And I will not be able to compete in this area, As soon as I put up the machine, my cost will go, my sale price will go, and the customer will not come to me. So that he switched over to Chinese machine. After 2 years, seeing his success, his neighbor had also put up the same project, but he put up a Sweden machine. Why? Because his market was different. His market was, big shops, like Shoppers Copy or the Chunmun area, like that, where you want to display very good product, and his target for the customer was very different. So ultimately, he put up the Sweden machine, and he was also successful. Why I'm trying to say you that a entrepreneur who wants to start up a business, he has to be very clear that where is my market, who's my customer. Otherwise, what will happen is he will not be able to justify the type of the product he is going to manufacture, right? So, for an entrepreneur, it becomes very necessary that he has to make his mind very, very clear what his market is, where he is going to sell his product. And so there are a lot of examples, I'll give you the very good example where people started very small amount, like 25,000 rupees, 30,000 rupees. The great example was Nirma. See, Nirma powder, 15, 20 years back, or even more than that years, he put up a very small project of making a washing powder, Washing powder basically the process is very simple, you take alkyne benzene, put up in a container, by morning gets converted into washing powder. So that's why he was able to put up the very low technology project at 25, 30,000 rupees. So where was his market? His market was the general public. At that time, Hindustan Lever was selling the product at about 50 rupees a kg. He introduced the first project in 10 rupees kg, Nirma powder. It created a revolution in the market, Why? Because lot many people, a chunk of the population, were not able to afford a product of 50 or 60 rupees a kg, of Hindustan Lever. Now he created he put up a technology, very low technology, so that his cost of production is very, very low. And that's why he could sell the product in 10 rupees kg. He created history, but slowly and slowly he changed his policy. So there are a lot many examples I will give you. This Gulshan Kumar, T series. See, T series also started his 35,000 rupees project, recording the audio cassettes, The first cassette he sold at 12 rupees, vis-a-vis at that time it was EMI or some HMV was selling about 35 rupees a cassette, He bought a recording machine, 2-3 recording machine, got the cassettes, from the suppliers. He recorded the songs, his cost of production was very low, technology was very low, and he could cater to the requirement of even a rickshaw wala who could listen to the good music, He created history. Even that Ayur shampoo, Sardar Habib Singh, he started his venture in 30, 40,000 rupees, Ayur shampoo also created history. First bottle he introduced in 40 rupees, 50 rupees, 200 ml shampoo, vis-a-vis the branded product 250 rupees. So that means what I'm telling you, that a entrepreneur who is specially setting up a very small project, with a very small amount, I think he has to identify a project. He has the customer, the market, which will ultimately decide the technology, right? So this is very, very important in a project report. This technology part, it becomes a very important factor in a technical feasibility. Now, suppose an entrepreneur who has got a good amount of finance with him, he can also always go for a sophisticated technology project, And he can always engage a foreign consultant or a good consultant. He can enter into technical collaboration with a foreign supplier, So that depends upon the type of the entrepreneur, type of the investment you want to make in the project. This is as far as the technology is concerned. Then the location. See, location also becomes very important, which is a part of the project report. Because these are all things you have to describe in a report. Why? Because see, each and every aspect of the project report is going to give the justification to the institution or a banker that all these aspects are technically feasible and the project is good enough to be put up for the entrepreneur. Now I'm talking about the location. See, location is not simply, that wherever you have some vacant plant or you have some land available with you, coming your father or some relations, go and put up the project without going for the details, whether that location is suitable for your project or not. Because every project is related with the location also, right? You cannot set up a very good hospital or cinema hall 30 kilometers away from the city. Nobody will come there. Even the coaching institutions, you want to set up a coaching institution, you have to set up within the city, so that it becomes approachable to the people, so students. So that means location becomes very important. I'll give very good examples which I did in my life. See, somebody put up a project of making a mineral water. So for a mineral water, what is the requirement? Water. So as far as the location was concerned, he selected a location where the water was at the depth of only 10 feet. He was very happy. Banker was very happy. Location is very suitable because the water, the main raw materials is available in plenty at the depth of only 10 feet. He put up the project. He entered into collaboration with a good machinery supply from Chennai. He supplied the plant for making a mineral water. After 1 year, when the production started, his product was not as per the specifications. The quality was very bad. He could not sell the product in the market. What happened? He called the machinery supplier, but you are giving me the wrong supply technology. Now machinery supply came. He checked the water. The quality of water was so bad. The TDS, total dissolved solid of the water, of the raw material, that's water which was used for making the mineral water, was very, very high, to the extent of 1500 TDS. So that means water was available in plenty, but he never bothered to see the quality of the water. See, because the TDS of 1,200 rupees will give the output of only 500, 600 by going through the process. So that means you could have chosen a place where the TDS, the water should have been more than 600, 700 rupees. So that ultimately he gets the finished product of 80 to 70 TDS, because human consumption TDS should not be more than 110, 120. So that means it becomes very, very important as the location is concerned. Second example I'll give you. Somebody put up a project, where the power requirement was very high, to the extent of 2 megawatt. Now he put up the project without saying where the input cable will be available. So these very, very small points makes a very, important decisions. Now he put up a project where the requirement, the power was of 2 megawatt or 2000 kilowatt. Without going through detail, where the cable, that input cable from the state electricity board will be available at what distance, At the time of commission the project of 1 year, he approached the state electricity board. Sir, give me the power, and the state electricity board gave me the power at 2 kilometer distance, of that too of a 30 kVA line, That poor fellow had to put up a cable, put up a transformer to step down to the 440 volt. So these, you can very well assess the cost of transformer, the cables of 2 kilometer. The project was not viable, So that means location became very, very important. So before putting up any project to a location, one has to go into the detail. That what are the factors which are very, very important for the project, those are available at site or not. The quality of those products, so those inputs are suitable for the technology or not. Now, even if you are importing a technology, and you have put up a very good technology, imported from Korea or Taiwan, but the local people are not, conversant with the technology. They don't understand the technology. They are not so skilled, to handle the technology. It becomes a problem. So that means the location also becomes very important. Whether you are putting up a project all those things which are directly related in the manufacturing the product, whether it's a labor, whether it's a machine, whether it's a customer, whether it's any input requirement, whether they are suitable to the project or not. You understand? Up to this, are you able to understand what I'm trying to say? I'm asking the participants. Any question up to this point?
Participants,
Yes, sir,
you can
it's
ask
totally
any
understandable.
question. You can discuss anything.
See, because I don't want to proceed further until unless I make you understand what I'm trying to say to you.
Yes.
Sir,
Make
actually
it
the
interactive.
thing
Sir,
is,
till all things are clear.
Hello?
Yeah, repeat again, please.
Hello?
Sir, you are audible. But sir, you are audible.
I'm trying to listen to any participant who has any question.
Yeah, Kartikeya, you said something.
Sir, I said that till now it's totally clear. No question.
Okay. And Debyan?
sir, I was wanting to say that as we were talking about the project management and how to create a preparation of the project report and all these things, sir, and the details about that, sir. So my question was basically that if a new project comes to the market, so how can we approach it for making a project report, sir? How can we make it, sir? In that case, sir. So that was my doubt, sir.
See, देखिए, Mr. Karthike, I will make you explain one thing. I think I made one mistake. That I should have first made you clear. What are the contents of a project report. Then I will just explain you one by one. See, hurriedly I'll show you the PPT where I can share. What are the basic contents. Then I will.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Now, sir, your screen is visible. Now, please open the PPT only.
Why?
No, screen is visible, sir. Open the folder and
No. Why my screen is not coming? Desktop is not coming.
सर नीचे फोल्डर आ रहा है ना सर.
हाँ, sorry.
हाँ, उस पे क्लिक करिए. Yes. Select desktop.
Yes. I am able to see. Mr. Karthik, are you able to see this PPT?
No,
the contents
it
of
is
the
Yes, sir.
So this is Deban, sir. Sir, this is Deban who asked actually, sir. I was Deban, sir.
Hello.
Sir, Debayan is asking the question.
Beg your pardon?
Sir, Debayan Chakrabarti is asking the question actually.
No. First, see, before you ask the question, let me first hurriedly go. What should be the contents of project build report?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Please.
the first content,
Okay,
the
sir.
chapter, the promoter's
I
background.
got it, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
That should consist of an age, qualification, experience, resources, business contact, performance of sector unit. Then technical feasibility, capacity, location, building, plant and machinery, technology, quality control, raw materials, utilities, manpower, effluent, implementation schedule. Then the cost of project. Then the means of finance. How do you, what are the resources for which you can generate the finances for meeting the cost of the project. Then market demand, project feasibility estimate, financial viability. In financial viability, you have to calculate the rate of return, break-even point, payback period, DSCR, NPV, IRR, sensitive analysis. Right? This is hurriedly I want to give you the picture. These are the contents of feasibility report. Now, what I was discussing one by one, that promoter background I finished, then I was going through the technical feasibility, right? Now, do you got some idea, that the project feasibility report, why it is important? What are the basic contents of the project report? Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
No, I will just remove this PPT from the screen, Now and we'll go for the discussions.
Yeah, sure, sir. You can stop sharing And you can turn on your camera, sir. There is an option of camera, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, sir. You are visible.
Are you able to see me?
Yes, sir. You are visible, sir.
No. What was the question?
Okay,
I
Devyang.
wanted to say that actually means the if anyone is going to start any project which is very new to the market, so basically my question was if any person who is going to make any project which is very new to the market,
Right.
so how you can prepare basically the project, so that
Right.
was my
Right.
question. How you
No,
are
no,
making the
it's a very
project
common
reports?
question because lot many people they really are not aware, how to prepare a report.
Yes, sir. That's why I wanted to know that only because as a
See,
new person, as a new entrepreneur, if I want to go as a
I
being
agree.
a leadership of
I
that, I
agree
wanted
with
to
you.
say.
See, this is
Yes.
see you. देखिए, first, especially for the first generation entrepreneur who doesn't have much exposure, See, what I advise you that if you want to really want to set up a business and start a business, and you have passed out your graduation, I don't think I would advise you to immediately go in for putting up a project until unless you belong to a business family, right? No, somebody is not belonging to any business family, and he is very, enthusiastic to putting up a project, At least he should go in for a service for 3-4 years, years must get an experience, Why? It gives lot of exposure, confidence, and knowledge, And the type of the service you must go in for that type of service where you want to go for the similar project, that would be very very advantageous. For example, I met lot many entrepreneurs. Suppose somebody wanted to put up a beer project, small beer project, distillery. So he worked for about 5 years in a distillery. He gained a good knowledge of the market. He gained a good knowledge of the technology. Then he started making efforts in putting up the similar project. This is one way, Now another way is that you don't have any exposure or any exposure technically or something, you can always hire a good consultant who are experienced in the line, who are in the line of making the project report, but they charge fees, They charge good amount of fees from you, and they will give you all the assistance. Even for a big project, they give you turnkey project in a sense. They will identify the market, they will identify the machinery supplier, they will assist you in putting up your building, identifying the location, identifying the technology, identifying the machinery supplier, erection of the machinery, commissioning of the machinery, even they help you in marketing your product. Only thing is that they will definitely charge fees for the services, right? So this happens in number of cases, But such projects are put up those entrepreneurs who have good financial background. They have the enough money to give the shape of a fee to the consultant, They engage the consultant who gives necessary services. Am I clear? Hello, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Karthik.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
देखिए ऐसा है कि it's not like that, that if you don't have any knowledge or you don't have any experience or expertise, you cannot put up a project. It's not like that, But only thing is there are persons available in the market who are ready to give you the necessary assistance, but they charge fees for that. They charge the consultancy fees for that. If you're ready, you can always do
I
it.
got it, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And this is the Debayan sir actually. Who was asking the question was Debayan sir actually. Debayan was asking.
Hello.
Yeah, sir. Yeah. Continue, sir, please.
Should I proceed further?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir,
See,
yes.
these out of the contents of the Pulse Visibility Report, these were 2-3 very important issues like locations and technology. And the third chapter, which is also very important, the cost of the project. See, it is very necessary for the entrepreneur to know what is the total investment required in a project, Suppose in case the entrepreneur doesn't know that this much is the money required to put up the business or put up a project, he will be total failure. Why? Now suppose you assess, so putting the project, normally what the entrepreneur thinks, I want a land, I want building, I want plant and machinery, I want raw material. These are the things which are sufficient for putting a project. No, you will feel always short of money. That means your concept should be very clear. What are the basic components of the cost of project? What are the basic components of putting up any business? That means you should be very clear in estimating your total investment required for putting up a project. Now, what are the various inputs which are becomes necessary or which requires money for putting up the project? Now, for example, when you start up putting the project, the first thing is you have to have a land, right? And how much land? It depends upon the building, the area of the building. How much area of the building? It depends upon the machinery. Now, how many machinery? It depends upon the what type of capacity you want to put up the plant. Now, what capacity? It depends upon the how much investment capacity you have to put up the project, right? Somebody may have a capacity to put up 10 lakhs rupees. Somebody may have a capacity of putting up 1 crore rupees. So that means he is seeing a project in a very larger prospects, So that means first you have to identify what is the total area of the land required for putting up the project. Now, what I suggest you for a small entrepreneur who wants to put up a very, very small project, to the extent of 20, 25 lakhs or 15 lakhs or 10 lakhs rupees, never go for buying a land, because land is very, very costly. So always go for a ready-made shed which is available on rent, because that will save a lot of money. That will save a lot of investment, initial investment in buying a land and making a building, because the cost of the land and the building is substantially high in a project, So that means for small projects, for micro or small projects, where the total cost of the project is not exceeding 20, 25 lakhs rupees, try to find a place which is available on the rent, because it saves a lot of investment. Now you want to go for a purchase of a land, identify a land, see the cost of the market rate, that will give you the cost of the land. Then you assess your building, what is the area of the building required for that, and then you also invite some tentative offers from the supplier, what are the type of the machinery required for making that particular product. For example, I was talking about the plastic product, you want a injection molding machine, you have 25 machinery supplier, invite a quotation, assess the cost, then after plant and machinery, then there are certain basic other things which are required in a project like office furniture and fixture, power distribution system, water distribution system, that is called your miscellaneous asset. Then pre-operative expenses, Then you require some expenses in terms of the project, right from you conceive your project up to the date of commissioning. You have to run around, you have to contact the supplier, your petrol, your conveyance, your telephone, etc., also becomes an expenditure of the project. Then, then after that, you give some margin of contingency. If there is any increase of cost of the project during the implementation period of 6 months or 9 months, at least give 5 to 10% of contingency. So some total of this will give you the cost of the project, or a cost of the assets, not a cost of the assets. So once you spend this money, your project is coming on the ground. Now you want to commission it. For commissioning of any project, you want raw materials. So raw materials, at least you have to have some inventories. For example, you are making a very general item, you have to have at least 1 month or 15 days inventory in your factory. So that means for that inventory, you require capital to store that inventory. That means 2 types of capital is required for acquiring your fixed asset, that land, building, plant and machinery, and other assets. These are the investment required for putting up your fixed assets. Then second investment is required for buying your raw material. That is called working capital. That means you always require financials in terms of 2 categories. One is your acquiring your fixed assets, that's land, building, plant and machinery. Another is working capital for buying your current assets, that is buying your raw materials, paying for wages and salaries, paying for your day-to-day expenses. That is 2 types of the investments. One is I require money for buying your assets, land, building, plant, machinery. Other type of investment, I want to buy raw materials, I want to pay salaries, I want to pay my electricity bill. So for an entrepreneur, he wants to mobilize two types of funds. One fund is for acquiring assets, other fund is for buying your raw materials, for buying your working capital. So bank normally gives assistance for both the things. You approach a bank with a project report, right? And you to assess your total cost of the project. Sir, my total cost of the project, for example, 100 rupees. So 100 rupees, please give me, they normally give about 75 rupees. So they will give you 75 rupees, 25 rupees you have to put from your own pocket, right? And that 75 rupees will be given at a rate of interest about, at present is 9 to 10% per annum with a repayment period of about 7 to 8 years. It can be a monthly, it can be a quarterly, right? Then once you start your production, then you again approach the bank for working capital assistance. So working capital assistance, that this much of the raw materials I will have to have in my factory. Then these are the monthly wages, wages, salary bill, etc. So you sum total, you assess your money for working capital. Bank also assists you, giving you the working capital. In working capital, suppose 100 rupees, they'll say you put up 25% of your own, 75% I will give you a bank loan. So these two types of the loans will be given. One loan is term loan for acquiring your fixed assets. Other loan is for acquiring the working capital. You understand this? Any questions, please? So
Guys,
this.
if
Hello.
you have any question, you can ask. Yes,
Hello.
Ajay.
Yes, sir. I have one question. As you mentioned that cost means we can lower the cost by taking the rent, the masonry on rent. But how we can manage the quality of the product as well? Because managing the cost, cutting the cost of
Something
production.
because we are not getting so much money or so much expense to afford that type of thing, sir, and neither to buy. That's another means question now which is coming in my mind, sir, when you're telling all this thing. Because at starting initially we don't have so much money, no, sir. That's the thing. So how can we do that?
Right. See, lot many industrial states in the states, they have built up industrial states, right, where they have built up the small sheds, for, to giving a help to the small entrepreneurs. They charge some rent and give your ready-made sheds to the entrepreneurs, where they can start manufacturing their products. Now, what I was saying is, when you are making a small investment and you don't have a much money available with you to buy your land and building, you save a lot of money. If you are getting a ready-made shed on a rent, monthly rent, you will save the initial investment. See, lot many states have built up the industrial state like that, where they help the entrepreneurs in giving the ready-made sheds on rent. But of course, where it's not possible, it's not feasible to get the sheds on rent, you have to buy. But the only thing is that you have to prepare for little large investments, And for large investment, your volume has to be very high, because the project will not be viable, financially viable. Because you have already made a good investment in the project and you have to get a good return on the investment also. That means your capacity of the plant will be a little higher, So that's why you'll see lot many cottage industries, lot many small and tiny industries. They produce by engaging 5-6 workers, They take some place on a rent, They hire people and they get engaged in making small components, Especially you will see lot many auto components. You will see lot cottage industries, They are always taken on rent, Have you ever seen like this, Hello?
Yes, Debayan, did you got the answer of the question?
Yes, sir. Yes, I got the response
Okay,
from him, sir.
Ajay, do you have any question, Ajay Pratap Singh?
Yes, yes, sir. I had that question only that the machinery which we will be taking on rent, if
No,
what,
machinery.
how we
I'm not
can.
talking about the machinery. No. The sheds will be given empty sheds, You have to
Yes,
buy your own machinery and put up in the plant.
yes, sir.
See, the government, lot many state government, they have built up small sheds, you know, to help the smaller people. They give a small piece of land where the shed is already built up, you know.
Okay, sir.
Where you cannot have, I mean, accommodate more than 10 or 12 persons, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sir.
And see, I'll give you another example. Now, you want to put up a computer service center, you know, let us assume, in a city, you know, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where you have, you know, engage of one or two fellows who are technicians, you know, to look after the complaints of the customers, you know. Now,
Yes,
will it be feasible that you buy a shop
yes, sir.
and 20 lakhs of rupees and put up a small computer repairing shop, you know, will we ever be viable, you know? No, it will never be viable. So that's why you will see lot many these service oriented industry, you know, people, they always take a place on rent, you know, until unless his shop or his house or his you know that area is inherited by his forefathers, you know, they have already bought it from 10-15 years back. You go there and take their possession, you know, that's a different matter. But if you want to put up a new shop or a service shop, you know, or a TV repair shop or a computer repair shop or some other shop, you know, that it will not never be financially viable if you buy a 30 lakhs 40 lakh shop and start doing this business, you know, in my opinion, you know, because you see in
Yes.
a rent, you know, you can always have a good margin available with you. Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
Ajay,
sir. Yes, sir.
did you get
Yes,
the
sir.
answer?
It's clear. Thank you, sir. Yes,
Please
yes, sir. It's
respond to
clear.
sir. Huh?
Yes. No, sir. I was just muting myself. No, because the sound might come and distract, sir.
Yeah. Please. Please continue, sir.
Yes.
See, then ultimately, after identifying the institutions who are giving you the loans, you know, see, normally once you are through with the cost of the project, now you want to have these institutions to know the institution who are giving the financial assistance, you know. See, normally there are two types of institutions who are helping in giving the financial assistance. One the national level institution, one the state level institution. Now, national level institutions, they play their roles in big industries, you know, normal, large and medium industry. For small, micro, small industry, the state level institution, the state financial corporation, banks, state industrial development corporations. No, see, every state has state financial corporation, state industrial development corporation, and banks. Banks, they give you assistance for both, giving you the acquiring the fixed asset, land, building, plant, and machinery, and working capital assistance. Once you identify the institution, state level institution, normally the people they go to the banks, you know, for any financial assistance. Now, bank has got number of very good schemes, you know, like there are if you go to a bank, you'll come to know, you know, like National Equity Fund scheme, Mahila Uddam scheme. So there are a number of schemes, you know, by which your rate of interest is very low. Your contribution is not required to the extent of 20 or 25%, even 5 to 10% contribution also is sufficient under those schemes, you know. You can always find out those schemes in the internet or go to any bank that you ask for a information from the bank that sir, what are the schemes which are available to a small or medium entrepreneur under which there is a minimum contribution from the entrepreneur and there is a minimum rate of interest. They will give you all the information. And secondary is you for your information, you know. Now see, every bank when they give you financial assistance, they ask for the additional securities, you know, collateral securities. No, suppose the bank gives you 75 rupees out of 100 rupees cost of the project. 25 rupees you are contributing from your own pocket, you know. This 75 rupees, they want a security against the 75 rupees that tomorrow you may not run and take my money, you know. Now, what sort of a security they want? In the shape of your any additional assets like your house, your land, jewelries, fixed deposits, shares. They will take a lien on those because they have got a security with them. Tomorrow, suppose you run away, so they have the security available with them. They can sell your basic land building plant and machinery asset. In addition to that, they will sell those fixed deposits or they will take the money from those fixed deposits because they are in the lien with the bank, you know. These are the type of the additional security. Now, a small entrepreneur, when they go to the bank, when the bank asks for these additional collateral securities, they say, "Sir, I don't have. अगर मेरे पास additional security होती तो why should I come to you? I would have put up the whole money from your own pocket." Now there is a one trust, credit guarantee trust. Now they come into the help of the small entrepreneurs to the extent of 2 crores of rupees. The government of India recently has hiked the amount to the 2 crores. That means what? If you take a loan of 2 crores of rupees, no need of giving the additional securities. The government of India, through the credit guarantee trust, gives security on behalf of the small entrepreneur. This is very, very, very important. Please don't get afraid that I don't have additional security or collateral security to offer to the bank against my loan, term loan, which I've taken from the bank. Don't worry. The government of India has come to the rescue of the small entrepreneur through credit guarantee trust, where the amount up to 2 crores of the loan can be taken care of by this trust. This is a very good scheme. Please be aware of these things. Now, last but not the least is the financial viability. See, in a project report, see whatever I have things described, right from the promoter background, technical feasibility, plant and machinery, location, project cost, means of finance. So these are the part of the project feasibility report. So at the end, the financial viability. Nobody puts up the project for the sake of any social work. Everybody wants to earn money, and how much money? It should be always more than the rate of interest of the bank. Nowadays, if your return is to the extent of 12%, they say project is financially viable, right? If you have some small, little knowledge about the finances, you will come to know there are some financial indicators like rate of return, payback period, internal rate of return, break-even point. So these are the the indicators. If you calculate, they give certain indicator which tells that whether the project is financially viable or not. Understand? So if you don't know all those, you can always go to any some chartered accountant or some consultant. They can make you understand how to calculate the financial viability of project. Now, to sum total, to summarize, you will really appreciate that whatever the points I've discussed in the project report, ultimately right from the project background to the technical feasibility, cost of the project, and the means of the finance, that the resources of the funds, what are the institutions which you approach for getting your finances, then at the end is financial viability, will give you an indicator to the bank officials or the institution whether this project needs help or not. By putting all these contents in the shape of a project report or feasibility report, it becomes very helpful to the banker or the institution or the fellow who is giving you assistance whether I should support this project or not. Because by going through this, he makes an understanding, he makes a judgment that whether the project is technically feasible and financially viable. Do you understand? Hello?
Yes, I got it.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes, I
you
got
can
it.
see, I see this topic has been very, very long, but I tried my best to summarize the whole thing in a short period of 1 hour, But the basic purpose was to tell you this project report is a very, very important document for getting any assistance from the bank or institution, because they will never understand your project until and unless you have given your business plan. What is a business plan? That's a project feasibility report. So business plan also helps you to know whether how much finances I require, whether this project is worth putting or not, where the market is. All those things have to describe ultimately, and it is for helpful to you, not only to you but to the bankers also.
Okay. So, sir, we have another lecture of yours on 9th February.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Bhatt sir will deliver another lecture on 9th February. So you can ask the questions in that session also. Right? So please collect your questions to ask with the Bhatt sir, and he will help you to prepare the project also in the offline mode. I will share the contact number and the email address of Bhatt sir.
I'm always there to help you. I always there
Yes,
to
sir.
answer your questions. Mr. Saket has my number,
Yes, sir.
Even
So
the
I will
email.
share the contact detail of Bhatt sir. So you
Uh,
can take the help and you can ask any type of questions. You can email the questions so that he can guide you in the project proposal reports. Right? So, Sindhu ma'am, over to you.
Okay, sir. I, on behalf of my colleagues and participants, thanks Mr. S.K. Bhatt, who gave his vital time from his busy schedule to grace this session of 6-week technology-based entrepreneurship program on food processing and Internet of Things. I thank Mr. Bhatt for making participants aware about different types of projects and what should be contents of project feasibility report. Thank you, sir, for an enlightening and interesting talk and sharing your knowledge with our participants. I would like
Thank
to
you so
record.
much, sir.